For centuries, the story of Africa has been told by everyone except Africans. Colonial powers, in their quest to justify their dominance, didn't just conquer lands. They sought to conquer history itself. They systematically erased, falsified, and belittled the rich and complex past of the continent, creating a narrative of a land without history, without civilization, waiting to be discovered. But what if I told you that the true history of Africa was never lost? It was simply stored in a different kind of library, a living, breathing library. This is the story of how a continent is reclaiming its past, not from dusty colonial archives, but from the powerful, enduring voices of its own people. This living library is what we call oral tradition. It's the sacred passing down of knowledge, culture, and history from one generation to the next, through words spoken and sung. Think about it. Myths that explain the cosmos, parables that teach morality, epic poems that chronicle the rise and fall of empires, and songs that carry the soul of a people. In many African societies, history wasn't something you read in a book. It was something you experienced. It was a community event, a shared memory. At the heart of this tradition are the storytellers, the elders, and the griots. These individuals are not just entertainers. They are revered historians, genealogists, and counselors. A griot in West Africa, for instance, undergoes years of rigorous training to memorize centuries of lineage, major events, and legal precedents. They are walking, talking encyclopedias, the guardians of their people's identity. Their accounts are filled with a depth and nuance you'll never find in a European explorer's diary. They don't just tell you what happened, they tell you why it mattered, capturing the spirit, values, and worldview of the society. This is history with a heartbeat. So, why was this rich tradition ignored and suppressed? To understand that, we need to look at the motivations behind colonial distortion. When Europeans arrived in Africa, they encountered sophisticated societies with complex political systems, thriving trade networks, and incredible artistic achievements. Think of the Great Zimbabwe, a magnificent stone city that flourished for centuries, or the intricate bronze sculptures of the Benin Empire. These realities directly contradicted the colonial justification for being there, the so-called civilizing mission. To resolve this contradiction, a distorted narrative was manufactured. One of the most insidious tools they used was the Hamitic hypothesis. This was a racist and entirely baseless theory which claimed that any sign of advanced civilization in Africa must have been introduced by a Hamitic race, a supposed branch of the Caucasian race. So, when they saw the impressive ruins of Great Zimbabwe, they couldn't accept that local Shona people built it. Instead, they spun tales of ancient Phoenicians, or even the Queen of Sheba. It was a deliberate attempt to deny Black Africans their own heritage and achievements. They applied this twisted logic across the continent, attributing everything from ironworking to state formation to outside influence. The written records left by colonizers became the official history, taught in schools and accepted globally. These texts were overwhelmingly biased. They were written by missionaries, soldiers, and administrators who saw Africa through a lens of racial superiority. They portrayed Africans as primitive, childlike, and incapable of self-governance. This written propaganda served a clear political purpose. It justified exploitation and subjugation. By erasing Africa's past, they tried to control its future. They created a history that served the colonizer, not the colonized, but a story that powerful can't be silenced forever. The tide began to turn as African nations fought for and gained their independence. A new generation of African scholars and historians rose, armed with a new mission to decolonize their history. They understood that to truly be free, they had to reclaim their own narrative, and their most powerful tool was the one that had been preserved all along: oral tradition. Pioneering historians like Joseph Kizirbo from Burkina Faso and Cheikh Anta Diop from Senegal, championed the use of oral sources. They argued that these traditions, when critically analyzed, were invaluable historical documents. They began the monumental task of recording, transcribing, and studying these oral histories from elders and griots across the continent. It was a race against time to preserve this knowledge before the living libraries were gone forever. This wasn't just about collecting stories. It was about a new methodology. Scholars learned to cross-reference different oral accounts, looking for corroboration and consistency. They integrated this knowledge with other fields. For instance, archaeology has provided stunning confirmation for oral traditions. When archaeologists excavate a site and their findings align with the local oral history about a settlement or a king's reign, it validates both sources of knowledge. The ruins of Great Zimbabwe, once attributed to outsiders, have been definitively proven by archaeology to be the work of the ancestors of the local Shona people, just as their oral traditions had always maintained. Similarly, linguistics helps trace migration patterns and relationships between different groups, often matching the narratives found in their epic poems and legends. This process of reclamation is ongoing, and it's fundamentally changing our understanding of the world. It's revealing a more accurate and vibrant picture of Africa's past, a continent of innovators, kings, queens, scholars, and artists. It shows us empires that rivaled any in Europe, trade routes that crisscrossed the globe, and centers of learning that were beacons of knowledge. By listening to the voices of Africa, we are not just correcting a historical injustice. We are enriching the entire story of humanity. We are finally learning that history is not a single story written by the victors, but a magnificent chorus of many voices. The work continues in universities, in villages, and in communities as Africans continue to write themselves back into their own history, ensuring their past is no longer a footnote in someone else's book, but the epic it was always meant to be. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If you found this story as powerful as I do, please like, subscribe, and share it. Let's keep these important conversations going. See you next time.